Okay, so now that you've gotten introduction to what you have to do for the final project for attendance before you get started on it, I'll actually walk you through the pretty, I hope, straightforward process that you will do to move your project work from your public repo, okay? Sorry, to your public repo from your private repo, okay? So we'll do that. You'll have a commit, and then we'll come back and talk about what you need to share out for your attendance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up my VS Code. And what I have here is I have my project work that I've been doing, right? This actually includes all the subpages that I needed to build out, so don't worry about that part. So what I'm going to do though, because this is in the private repo, I'm going to come down to the public repo, and I've already created a folder. So if you don't remember, you create a folder, right? And then in this case, it needs to be right underneath the public, and you name it final. Okay, so I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, but that'll be just where it needs to be placed. Okay, now in this case, there's nothing in it yet, because what I'm going to do is scroll up to the project in my private, right? And now here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that first one. I'm going to go all the way to this one. I'm going to hit Shift. Now that's specific to Mac, I think also to Windows. I'm going to copy that. Okay. So now we're moving to a new folder name. That's why you can't just take the folder over, because if you try that, it won't actually give you the right URL. I'm going to come down to public. I'm going to paste it. Very cool. And then I would run my live server to make sure that is indeed rendering correctly. Okay, so that'd be a step I'd want to do. Okay, so for me, let's see. Now, in this case, just to test this, right, what I would do is go to my demo public, my final. Oh, yeah, I would just click through, make sure everything works, make sure all my images show up. Right, this is the final site that I created for the course. Okay, so once you have that, then do a commit, final folder setup. Okay, so now because we've moved from having things in our private project folder to a public folder named final, we also now can just share this out. Now remember that when you're moving things over to the public repo, and we're using this specific URL configuration, and this is really honestly a configuration, but this is the URL, your public, and then final, right? So what you want to remember is sometimes it can take a little time for that to show up. So as an example, if I had done a push right now, I had done this push and I had done the commit first and then done the push. If I immediately go here, it may not be there yet. But to confirm that it did actually get put up there and I'm just waiting for this URL to work, then I would just go to my GitHub 85. I'd go to my demo public, right? Now I haven't done the push, so don't worry about that. And I would look to see if that final was here. It had a check mark, okay? Because if not, then I'd want to look in and reach out for help. If for some reason, right, if for some reason that check mark and that folder wasn't there when you actually navigated to your GitHub for that repo, you'd want to check that out. But otherwise, just check back a little later and see if it shows up. Okay, so now here's where, and in your reply, you're going to post that URL. That way we can all check out, just to help you, because maybe by the time somebody else has looked at your URL, it actually has rendered correctly, right? So in your post, besides the URL, right? By the way, make sure when you do that, you and mine, right? I'm just going to do this now. Now, this is not a working link at this point. I'm just giving you the idea. Make sure when you do that and you hit enter, that actually makes that a link, because, and by the way, we know HTML now. If for some reason you weren't sure, you could go underneath there and make sure that link actually was an active link. Oh, I must have got rid of it. So my point is make sure the link is actually a link. So what are the two subpages? What will your two new subpages be about, right? How will they link to the existing menu? So this is what I was showing today. So this gives you some you some time to actually think about what these two new subpages would be that you're going to be adding to your site. Again, I went over that in the overview of the project. And then just to give you a little planning. And then you can also hear, do you have any questions regarding the final requirements? Okay. So post here, 1 through 4, 80 points. So making sure you've done all those. And then reply to another student, do a click test on their URL so they know it's working, and tell them if it was successful. Okay. So that's what you're going to do for this last attendance. And now I'll go do a video for how we do the final share out. Okay. Talk to you later.